One of the things that we have in the state and that we have proposed in the ISB budget this year is a state match. To the best of my knowledge, what they're currently asking for right now in that ISB budget, which would be new money, is $6.2 million. That was the last total that I heard. And if they get that appropriated and through that ISB budget, that is the figure that we have figured for every building in the state of Illinois. There are 11% of school districts in the state of Illinois that have at least one building that does not have fiber. The goal for that money is to get fiber to every building in the state of Illinois. So whether you're wanting to go down that road of the paperwork and the self-provisioning and the dark fiber, or whether you're simply asking a provider, please come to my rural school and give me fiber, and they tell you there's going to be a $200,000 upfront cost to get fiber to that school, that is eligible for this state match fund. Now, this is Illinois, and we have our budget appropriation and budget and general challenges, so it is something that has to go through the budgetary process. We applied for it last year and had the money in the budget that was in the governor's budget, and then they went with the legislative budget instead of the governor's budget, and everything got tossed around, as you know, at the last minute. So it did not make it in the final budget. We are more optimistic this year that we're using the right channels, and we've focused ahead of time on this budget piece. The special construction state match is supposed to come out for school districts to apply for here within the month of December. So we're hoping to see it here within the month of December to be due sometime in the month of February. In other words, it is a piece of documentation that you have to fill out, and you have to say, if I only had fiber to this particular building, these are the wonderful educational things that I could do with it. It's very straightforward. It's very say what you mean and mean what you say. You don't have to have fancy buzzwords in it, but you just simply have to say, this is important to me, and I would like to apply for special construction. And then once you do your 470 process and pick your provider, you will say, XYZ vendor wants to come to this building with fiber. They're saying it's going to cost $20,000 to get there. I want to apply for this state match. If you are an 80% school district, the state will chip in 10%. That now takes you to 90. Because the state has given you the 10%, the federal government and the FCC will chip in 10% to match it, which now means that entire $20,000 build is zero because you have worked the state match fund. So the state's chipping in 10, the federal government's increasing 10. If you are a 60% school district, that means the state has committed at least 10, so you've got 60 now goes to 70, and then you've got your federal, which now goes to 80. There is a chance that you will have to pay that 20% yourself. That's better than 40. However, if there is enough money in the fund and it is not all requested, the state may cover even more than their 10%. You're only going to get 10% from the federal government, but there were applicants last year who were 60% districts who were getting the rest of theirs paid for because there were not that many applications in for it. So there's potential there for even our 50 and 60% discount districts to get the entire build paid for. Out of the 13 that applied last year, keep in mind we didn't get the appropriation, 7 of them went forward and built it on their own without their percentage because they had done all that paperwork already to see what it was like. It's a gamble because this is the state of Illinois and the budgetary system, but it's worth a shot to get your portion paid for and it be no cost to you. If you determine that the money doesn't come through, that something happens along the way and it doesn't get appropriated, you can totally as a district back out of it and say never mind. So you're not committing to anything totally. You have done all the legwork to know what that cost is, and you can have a discussion with your administration and your board about what that looks like. We saw bids from everything from $20,000 to build across town to connect that other grade school to a $1.2 billion project to connect all the buildings within a district to each other. So there are lots of different options to do it. When the announcement is made, it will be in the State Superintendent's Weekly Bulletin that I know you all religiously read weekly. It will also come out to the TPOCS list, which I know you're all a part of. If you're not, let me know. We'll get you on it today. And I will be forwarding it out to all of your area lists as well. So I'll send it to Tech Geeks and to the Ed Tech list and to the various area LTC lists that we have to let everybody be aware that the application is out there if you are interested. So even if you're doing traditional services and there is an upfront cost of an amount, please, your providers may want to break that into your monthly costs. You can get it paid for if you let them break it out as a one-time cost rather than grouping it into your monthly cost. And I'm going to be totally upfront with you. What I'm seeing is providers wanting to take that build cost and divide it among your monthly cost for 5 years, because your bill is $1,500 and now it's gone up to $2,000 a month, say. And they're banking on and hoping that you won't be the one filing E-rate 5 years out when you sign a new contract, and then they can just continue charging your district $2,000 a month when it should be $1,500 at that point. And then they'll come back and you'll say, hey, we had this cost to build in for this first 5 years. I want a better deal now. And they'll come back and say, how about we leave it at the $2,000 a month amount and I up your bandwidth? So you can finagle and you can see, but I'm really hoping that this process will allow you to kind of take ownership of your connectivity yourself again and not be at the mercy of your vendors, because I think that that's what we're starting to see with some of these builds that you are currently in. We do have a partnership with the Illinois Classroom Connectivity Project, which is a partnership between the Governor's Office, the State Board of Education, the LTCs, and Education Superhighway. And like you can see, our goal is to get every building in the state, school building, connected to high-speed internet access. That will meet your needs today and in the future. So that is our overall goal, and that is what has been fueling this whole conversation about builds and about E-rate training and really getting you to take advantage of the opportunities. I think now is the opportunity to really think about how you're going to apply today and what you want to do because of the changes in E-rate and the fact that they are covering things and the fact that we do have the potential of a state match. I think it's an unprecedented time to upgrade information. When we started doing these E-rate trainings in the state in the late 90s, it was due to the fact that we wanted to get you all T1 lines. And it took us 3 to 5 years to get you all T1 lines, and we were super excited about it when we got you all T1 lines. It's like the new age of connectivity, and it's getting you all fiber. And so that's why you're hearing a lot more about it now than you have in the past. Through this Classroom Connectivity Project, we can work with you to get you fiber if you don't have it, but they can also work with you to encourage the right language in talking to your provider to get more bandwidth for your money. There's a wonderful tool that they have called Compare and Connect K-12, where you can go out and take a look at your district information and the districts around you and do a comparison and say, hey, Mediacom, why is my neighbor paying half as much as I am for the same amount of bandwidth? And really leverage that information for you to get more bandwidth, as well as if you are questioning what you can and can't do with Category 2, and you're not a technical person, and you're a bookkeeper or an administrator that somebody said, congratulations, you're the E-rate person, we can help you leverage the technical expertise in the room and at ESH and statewide to make sure that you get what you need to take advantage of that bandwidth in the classroom. There is a wonderful little video here that walks you through Compare and Connect, and we will play that video. I'll come back to this slide at the end, but I want to give us enough time to get through the 470 application together. So that's what we're going to do now.